Hello, my name is Mohammed Damani. I'm the Regional Executive Chef for Mount Carmel Health System, and I will be making a lentil salad. So for the first step of this recipe, we're going to be cooking the lentils. I have a sauce pot here and 1 cup of lentils. I'm going to pour that directly into the sauce pot, and I'm going to add just enough water to cover it about an inch above the lentils. If you add too much water, it's not a huge deal. You can always drain it after you cook, but you want to just cover it about an inch and then turn on high and bring it to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, you want to reduce the heat to low and cook the lentils for about 16 to 20 minutes until they're tender. Now the water's coming to a boil. I have 3 sprigs of thyme. I'm going to throw that right into the pot. The thyme is going to flavor the lentils throughout while they're cooking. It's at a boil right now, so I'm going to reduce the heat to low and let that simmer. And while that's simmering, I'm going to prepare the vegetables for the recipe. I have several vegetables here that are going to go into this salad, and they're going to add a lot of crunch and flavor. I have red pepper, carrots, celery, parsley, red onion, garlic, and lemon, which we're going to juice and add to the recipe. So I'm going to start with the red pepper. One of the tips that I have for cutting a red pepper is to lay it right here on its bottom and then go down the side. You've probably seen several ways to cut a red pepper, but this is the most effective way that I found. Then you just turn it, go down the next side, go down the next side, like so, and then you can lay it flat and cut the bottom right off. This is the way I found that gives you the most yield out of a pepper. This is all the waste that you have, and all of this can be cut for the recipe. Whenever you're cutting vegetables, we're going to do a small dice. You want to lay it on a flat surface. So you want to make sure that the vegetable's flat, not rolling around your cutting board, because that can lead to injury and to cuts. Once you have it flat, for the dice, we're going to cut it into strips. We're going to turn those strips, and then we're going to cut dices off of the strips like so. And right here you can control how big your dice is going to be by the distance between the cuts. All right, now that I've finished chopping my 1 cup of red bell pepper, I'm going to put it in the bowl with the lentils that have been cooked and cooled. And I'm going to move on to chopping my carrots. So with the carrots and the celery, you want to make sure that you wash all of your produce thoroughly before you get started. This has all already been washed, so I'm going to go ahead and peel the carrot. When you're peeling a carrot, I have a vegetable peeler here. You want to make sure that you lay it flat, keep your fingers clear, and go down the length of the vegetable. And then turn. Keep going down. Then all of these peels go either in the trash or the compost bucket that you have. You can compost these and they will do very well with that. I'm just going to set them aside for now. So with a carrot, it rolls. As I said before, you want to make sure that everything is laying flat when you're cutting it. So we're going to trim the ends. And then we're going to take the carrot and we're going to cut a little piece off here so it doesn't roll. We're going to turn it, and then we're going to cut it into thin strips. And then when you get to this point here, you can just lay it flat and then keep going. And then as with the pepper, you want to turn the strips long ways. With these pieces here, I'm going to cut them down a little bit more. Then you have all the strips of carrots lined up. Then you can just go down the length of the carrot. Always move your hand. Never push the food into the knife. Always move your hand and move the knife down whatever you are cutting. All right, now I'm going to add my 1 cup of diced carrots into the bowl. It was about 2 medium-sized carrots. So this technique right here, you can use the blade of your knife to scoop up. Just be careful and run your finger without touching the sharp part of the blade down the knife. And you can scrape it right into the bowl like that. The next thing I have here is celery. So with the celery, I've not pre-washed it, so I'm actually going to take it over to the sink and I'm going to wash it because I wanted to demonstrate how to correctly wash celery. Because you have a lot of dirt that can get into the little particles here of the celery. With the celery, as I was saying, there's a lot of dirt, so you want to make sure you put it under cold running water and then just run your finger down the length of the celery and make sure to push out any of that dirt and let it run down with the water. Once your celery is fully washed, one of the things that I actually do is actually peel celery. Celery has a lot of fibrous strands that run down the outside of it that are difficult to chew. So peeling celery is one of the first things I learned in cooking school. You just want to peel the outer layer like that, and you can discard that or put it in your compost. All right, now that I have my celery peeled, I'm going to lay it so the side is down, and I'm going to cut it into strips like I did with the other vegetables. Just go down the length of the vegetable. And similar to the carrots and the red peppers, we're looking for about 1 cup. Just chop it down. Once you get to the ends here, that are very just fibrous and hard, you can discard those or compost. All right, the next step to the recipe is to dice the red onion. So with any type of onion, I typically cut off the top, cut off the bottom. You want to leave this bottom intact because it's very important to control the vegetable while you're dicing it, and I'll demonstrate that here. You want to peel all the way around. Make sure you get the thinnest part of the onion off because those are not pleasant to eat. Once you have the onion peeled, lay it so the top it's top side down. Cut right through the core. Then you're going to lay each half of the onion down on the cutting board. And here's the tip for dicing onions. You're going to slice almost all the way through, leaving the last little bit intact to keep the onion together. So after you have those cuts, you can see right here that the onion is sliced down and you can fan it out. Now you're going to lay it down and very carefully you're going to put your hand right on top of here and you're going to move your knife back and forth and go down about 3/4 of the way. And then you're going to do it one more time. Make sure you keep your fingers clear of the knife. And then once you have that, squeeze all the onion back together and move your knife in a rocking motion from top to bottom, and then you have perfectly diced onions. Once you get to the end, since you only cut 3/4 of the way through, you can slice that part down, discard the root end, lay this part flat, and then just run your knife just to get that last little bit. And we're looking for a total of 1 cup of diced onions, which I have right here. I'm going to put that right into the bowl. Next, we have our garlic. So one of the tips with the garlic is this is a little bit older, you can see it's easier to peel, but if it was a fresher clove of garlic, it might be difficult to get these cloves apart. If you lay it down and press your hand, like so, all of those cloves will start to come apart. We need 1 clove for this recipe, so I'm going to pull that right off. And then in order to peel it, I'm going to lay it on the board. I'm going to take my knife. I'm going to very carefully put the back of the knife towards your hand, the sharp part that way. I'm going to put it down. I'm going to press down on the garlic. Once I do that, the peel should come right off. We're going to trim off this end right here. Then this is minced garlic, so we're just going to take our knife, we're going to slice. And then we're going to put our hand right here on the tip of the blade. We're going to chop it down. Scrape all the pieces back, scrape the pieces off the knife, and then run through it multiple times till you get a minced consistency. One tip for mincing garlic, you can also at this point add kosher salt, and it will kind of create some friction with the garlic and mince it a little bit finer. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to add any additional salt to this recipe. But if you're having a hard time getting your garlic smaller, you can absolutely do that step. The next step for this recipe is we're going to make the dressing. The dressing consists of lemon juice, olive oil, salt, pepper, and thyme. So for the lemon juice, I'm going to cut a fresh lemon in half. I have a lemon juicer right here. I'm going to put the lemon right down in there. I'm going to squeeze the juice right into the bowl. And then if you didn't get all of the juice out of the lemon, you can absolutely save this for future use. We're going to whisk in olive oil. Pepper, thyme, and salt. Once that's all thoroughly mixed together, we're going to pour it into the salad. All right, the last thing we're going to put into the salad is chopped parsley. I need about a 1/4 cup of chopped parsley. So with parsley, you can actually use the stems. A lot of people don't like to, but if you chop them fine enough, it will incorporate into your salad beautifully. I do usually trim about right here. These can be saved and actually put into roasts. So if you're making a roast turkey or a pot roast or something like that, you can lay this right in the pan and it'll add flavor to your roast. So you can either do that or you can discard them. For the parsley, I'm going to bunch it like so onto the board. Just kind of fold it into itself to make a smaller bundle. And then I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to run it down. Once you have it like that, you can take your knife and go diagonal this way. Go the other direction. And you just want to continue this process till you get a nice, small, minced consistency with your parsley. And with this recipe, because it's a salad, it's not imperative to get it minced. You can leave the pieces a little bit larger in a chop, but it just depends on your preference. Some people don't enjoy eating large pieces of herbs, and some people don't mind. And then right here I have about a quarter cup of parsley on my board. I'm just eyeballing this as I did with most of the ingredients. If you're more comfortable measuring, you can absolutely measure. But with the salad, it's not as imperative. With baking or something like that, you absolutely want to measure because you have a lot of different chemical reactions that can happen there and mess up your baked good. But with salads, you're okay just eyeballing any ingredient that you have. And another tip with the dressing, if you don't want to dirty a separate bowl, you can absolutely pour all of the ingredients right on your salad and just toss it. So at this point, I have everything in my bowl. I'm going to take the spoon, I'm just going to stir it around. Make sure everything's nice and evenly coated. And there we have the lentil salad. The salad is a great accompaniment for fish or grilled chicken. It can also be served warm. You can absolutely either put it in the microwave or put it in the oven for a little bit and warm it up. Just a nice, bright, healthy side dish.